All right, so let's, I'm going to open this up to volunteers for a Pride coupon. Who wants to explain what they did on 21? Pride coupon, equivalent of 50 cents. Come on, I'll just call on someone then. Allie, you could have had a Pride coupon. Tell me what you did here, Allie.
Okay, so first, we can use the power property or whatever I know for, so then it makes log x y power 4 and then minus log y z.
Good. If you use a power property, Allie, we want to hear it.
Power.
You do not. All right, keep going.
Okay, and then since it's subtracting, it's going to be a quotient, so it's going to be x4, y4 over y3, z3.
Good job. So she kind of did two steps there with distributing the powers, but also with using the quotient property. Cool. Anything we can do from there?
Simplify the y's.
Yep. How would you do that?
We would just subtract y's would be x4, y1 versus y, and then over z.
What do you guys think? Nice job, Allie. That is correct.
Still got that black coupon.
Maybe I can be nice. I don't know. I'm tethered to my computer now, so you have to come get it yourself, though. Huzzah! Okay, so then 22. Anyone else? They're like, oh, that was easy. I'd go and volunteer. No? Charlie, will you walk me through what you did on 22?
So I did the power.
Yep.
So that it was over x to the third x over 3.
Is that what you said, or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus ln y parentheses to the second power times in parentheses to
Awesome. So let's hear it, Charlie.
I got the
All right, good. Keep going.
and then we do the product, which would be ln to the y to the third, x to the third times y, and then let's see, times y and z to the second in parentheses times 4. Up to the second.
All right, so we've got that mess in the middle there, right? Great. Okay, so guys, when we distribute the powers to a power, how does that work? What do they do? Good job. They're going to multiply. So here, that's going to be ln. I'll have x. So I'm going to distribute the 3 like that, distribute the 2 like that. So I'll have x to what power? Y to the third. And then we'll have y squared and z to the fourth. Right? So power to a power, you multiply them. Can we do anything else? There's a y's. How would we combine those? How many total y's is that? There are 5. Remember, if you're doing a power to a power like what we did on the last step, you multiply. But here you're multiplying and the bases are the same. In that case, you add the exponents. 3 plus 2 is 5. Or if you just to write out a bunch of y's, you'd have 3y's times 2y's, which would be 5y's, right? So then let's just simplify that to x to the 9th, y to the 5th, z to the 4th. And that's as good as we're going to make it. Were you guys able to get there on your own? If you did, awesome job. If not, do you have any questions? Were you able to can you figure that out now? Cool. Okay, Charlie, I'll give you one of these, but you might have to come get it. Okay, now this last one I want to go over with you is, this is one that's a little bit tricky, okay? And the reason why it's a little bit tricky is, let me show you how some people do this. They'll look at this and say, okay, let's use a quotient property here, and I'm going to write that as log of 3 over x minus log 2. And then they'll say, oh, but now we need to do that again, and don't write this down, by the way. So we're going to do log of 3 over x, and then divide that by 2. And it ends up looking really ugly really fast, okay? So don't do that. Let me show you what I want you to do there instead. When you see two negatives like this, so notice you have a subtract and then a subtract again, what I want you to do is to factor out that negative first, okay? So I do want you to write this down. Now you're going to do log 3, but I'm going to factor out the negative, and that's going to leave behind log of x, and since I factored out the negative, now it's plus 2, log 2. So I'll put a little side note here, we factored out the negative. Okay, are you guys okay with that first step? What's going on inside the parentheses now? The product property, because they're adding, okay? So I'm going to do product property. So the log 3 just doesn't do much yet. But inside the parentheses, we're going to write this as log of x times 2. And usually write the numbers first. The order doesn't really matter. I'm just going to write that as 2x. But x2, 2x, same thing, right? Cool. Now, what can we do since we've done the product property? They're subtracting, so let's use the quotient property. So I'm going to write this as log of 3 divided by 2x. And that's how I'm going to write it. That'd be the correct one. So if you ever see a subtract and then another subtract, factor out that negative. It means that both the x and the 2 are going to end up in the denominator. But don't make it a crazy fraction like 3 over x over 2. Then that's just kind of crazy. All right, does that make sense? Do you have any questions here or any steps from confusing you? You haven't asked a lot of questions, so I don't know if that means you're just confused or you get it. Go ahead, Angelina. Yeah, so do you see how I factored out the negative? So then let's just look inside the parentheses. After I factored that out, what's going on here? Those are adding. So when I said use a product property, I was saying use it for those two. And that's how I got it to 2x. Does that make sense? Awesome. Thank you for asking a question. Anyone else? Go ahead, Hiram.
When I do log of 3 divided by x divided by 2, and then log of 3 divided by 2x, they're two separate answers, two different answers.
Okay, so let's do that. What are you saying here? How did you do it? Let me get a new page here. What did you put in your calculator?
I put log of 3 divided by x divided by 2.
Well, then what's x? Okay, so I guess what you'd be putting in, here's what I want you to put in your calculator. So Hiram's trying to check.
Why am I putting in exactly?
Here's what if you want to check this, guys, so here's the 3 ways you could do it. So if I saw log of 2 minus log of 3 minus log of 4, okay? How someone might write this is they might write it as log of 2 over 3 over 4. And what I'm telling you to do is to write this as log of 2 over 3 times 4, which would be 2 over 12. So if you're trying to check this property on your calculator, which is great, I would check this top one first, and then check this bottom one here.
Yeah, I just did that.
And it works, right?
No, they're both different.
Okay, well, I'm going to look at it with you in a second, okay? Because this one isn't going to be right there. 2 over got them to be the same?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have you guys do an activity and then I'll come look at it with you. Here's what you're going to do with your neighbor here, okay? There are 8 equations on the board. They're also in your notes, right? 4 of these are true, 4 of these are false. And what I want you to do is to work with your neighbor and figure out which 4 are true and which ones are false. And if you want, you could replace x with a number as a way of like checking it on your calculator, okay? So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes here. Try this out.